ब्रह्मणि मानस संचरे ब्रह्मणि मानस संचरे ब्रह्मणि मानस संचरे ब्रह्मणि मानस संचरे
Namaste, I'm Aparna Ramaswamy and welcome to Indian Meditative Practices. This is week 4 of a summer series titled Indian Meditative Practices, organized by the Embassy of India in Washington, D.C. This week coincides with the International Day of Yoga on June 20th, so it is quite fortuitous that we had planned to do the yoga event around the same time frame for presenter availability. So we're delighted to be able to join in celebrations for yoga. I encourage each of you to go into the Embassy of India's webpage wherever you are and try to participate in the celebration on Saturday, June 20th. This is my background. I am a licensed clinical mental health provider. I teach at Johns Hopkins University in the Department of Counseling. My area of research is around yoga, Ashtanga yoga, and meditation. My training is also as a classical Indian dancer, Bharatanatyam, a student of the Dhananjayans. I've been teaching in this area for many years now, and I teach Dharma class on Sunday at Sri Shiva Vishnu Temple, which is local in Maryland. So we enter the next segment of yoga meditations, where we have Dr. Dilip Sarkar over the next 4 sessions talking to us about his idea of how meditation is medication, yoga, Ayurveda, and lifestyle medicine that he brings to bear on his session. So general format of the session is each session is about close to an hour. It can be a little shy of an hour sometimes. We welcome what the session is about and introduce the session. And then we have a short guided meditation if appropriate. And we go on to a guest presentation. Each time it is a slightly different topic. And we have various segments. We just completed a segment on scientific and traditional approaches to meditation. And now we enter the yoga meditation segment. The largest structure of all sessions is that a viewer has a twofold option. One is to actually learn, maintain a regular practice of meditation on their own between sessions and use the session more as a way of checking in, maybe practicing as a group that is not attached to any tradition, but more music and relaxation. I will often lead the session. And the second part of it the viewers can consider is becoming exposed to the various meditations that there are, understanding what are the texts, where did they develop, who developed it, when, and how do you practice it, what is the scientific research behind this form of meditation. So these are the general format and structure we follow throughout the series. And yes, there will be some flexibility each time, depending on the focus. Today, for instance, yoga and meditation are quite commonly available for each of you. So this session will not go into the practice of yoga as an asana practices, but dwell more on meditative aspect of it, perhaps using mudras, maybe using a general body scan. And we'll take the time to talk about the texts of yoga, when did yoga traditions develop, and we'll have Dr. Sarkar talking to us about how meditation is yoga and yoga is meditation. It is not that there are some kinds of yoga that are meditation, but all yoga is meditation. So coming to the history and texts of yoga. Now, some are very commonly known by many, by Yoga Sutra, by Patanjali. Some who follow Hatha Yoga will say Hatha Yoga Pradipika and Gerinda Samhita. Those who are perhaps following the faith of Hinduism may say that Bhagavad Gita is a yoga text, a Sankhya yoga text. But what is not always clear is how do each of these kind of play and fit along with each other. Traditionally, in terms of a timeline, it is believed that Veda and Upanishads, where we have the 4 Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva Veda, are the first time that we hear about the concept of meditation and mantras, the recitation of mantras, and then the pondering, a meditative component in terms of the Aranyakas, wondering, contemplating, why do we do these rituals? What is the meaning of these rituals? So even as early as the Vedic times, you start hearing about the concept of Veda, not so much the practices in terms of how do you do yoga, but that mantras can, in their recitation and delivery, create that feeling of being one, yoga, as it is called. When we come later on to the Bhagavad Gita, we see that there is the various kinds of yoga sadhana that is done. There is a kind of sadhana that is following knowledge, Jnana Yoga, towards self-realization, understanding who we are in the context of the larger cosmos. Dhyana Yoga, which is more where we come into meditative contemplation. Karma Yoga, the act of selfless service, volunteerism, where we give to another, we serve another, thinking about others beyond ourselves. And Bhakti Yoga, which is devotional, where we pray or surrender to an ultimate divinity, where we say, we realize all of these yogas, the focus is in realizing we as individuals are just one aspect of a larger entity of cosmos. There is a whole world, other people who exist beyond us, and it is not just something we do to serve ourselves, but also in service of others. When you come to the Yoga Sutra, we get into the more traditional practices of yoga. And then the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, which is the first time they talk about the practices. The Yoga Sutra does not have practices, it only talks about the principles of yoga, the Ashtanga Yoga. It is when we get to Hatha Yoga Pradipika and then much later in the Giranda Samhita that we have the various asanas that are formulated and codified. So when we look at the timeline, there are several research and theories that suggest that yoga developed over multiple periods. There is, like we said, the Vedic concept of yoga. How does it develop in the various Upanishads that talk about it, the Vedas, and they talk about mantras. And then you have what is called the classical period, where you have the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, you have the various darshanas coming in. And you have, of course, the Yoga Bhashya, the first commentary on Yoga Sutra, where for the first time we have the description of basic 10 asanas. All of them are seated asanas that are suggested as a practice that is defined in Yoga Sutra. When we come to the post-classical periods is when you see the other kinds of texts coming in. In fact, Gorakshanath, who was a disciple of Matsyendranath and coming in from the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, that's much later, as you can see around 11th, 12th century common area, is when you start seeing the development, or rather the codification. Clearly, practice of these asanas might have predated any attempt to write about it, but this is when we start seeing the texts of Hatha Yoga Pradipika and Giranda Samhita. Yoga Sutras, of course, are dated much earlier, around 2nd century CE. And then you have what is called modern, not so much in the last 10 years or 20 years, but over the last 2 to 3 centuries, where we see the various modern practices of yoga, many of which trace their origin back to the Yoga Sutra and or the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. So this is just a general timeline of how the traditions of yoga have developed. Now coming to Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, I will pause here for a couple of minutes. According to Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, which is written around the 2nd century CE, we are told, the focus of yoga is meditation. Whether you meditate on a concept, whether you meditate towards getting samadhi or dhyana, meditation is an outcome of yoga. The larger purpose of yoga, of course, as we've talked about in meditation traditions, is kaivalya, is liberation from suffering in this life. So when you look at Yoga Sutra, it has got 4 parts, 4 padas, or chapters, if you will. It is a Samadhi pada, Sadhana pada, Vibhuti pada, and of course you have the Kaivalya pada. And they are written as aphorisms, like easy prose. And there are totally 196 such lines, and each one of them describe a concept. It is very tersely written. It doesn't elaborate too much. In that context, there are these 8 limbs that are given in one of the chapters. Patanjali doesn't take any more than about 15 or 20 lines to describe these. He goes through that yoga is a lifestyle. It is following ethical values. And you can see in that image over there, the various values of yama as honesty, non-violence, not stealing, not desiring, no greed, and constantly persevering towards the absolute. These ethical values that one lives by. The second step is the niyamas, the observances of purity, cleanliness within inside and outside. Always looking at contentment and satisfaction in what we have. Introspection, contemplation, svadhyaya, perseverance, rigor, not giving up, and then surrendering to Ishvara. Here, a point to make is the Yoga Sutra propounds Ishvara, whereas the larger Sankhya philosophy is also non-theistic in many ways. But both Yama and Niyama does not really talk about a practice that you have to do. It's a lifelong disposition and style. When you come to the 3rd and 4th limbs of asana and pranayama is where you start using your body, the bahiranga, externalities. You can use your body, whether it's postural practice or whether it's seated. The word asana itself can be a seat, stiram sukham asana, that which is comfortable and steady. In the Yoga Sutra, again, they don't describe any posture as an example of asana. They just describe what is asana is that which leads to meditation. When you come to pranayama, again, it is a physical practice. How do you use breath to regulate your energy, your prana? And we'll have our guest speakers speak a little bit more about this over the next 2 sessions. When you do asana and pranayama long enough, an autonomous emergence is pratyahara, where you are not necessarily distracted by anything happening outside that is stimulating your senses, but you've turned inward. When you do it long enough and there is an object of concentration, like we talked about last session, be it a mantra, be it your breath, be it an external concept of looking at the sun or an image or maybe an emotion. That is when that single pointed focus concentration of dharana grows into an expansive meditation, dhyana, and leading ultimately to samadhi. So this is kind of the Yoga Sutra and Patanjali's Ashtanga principles of yoga that many schools of yoga follow nowadays, with varying emphasis on one or the more concepts. So we have as our guest speaker today to talk to us a little more in depth about yoga, Dilip Sarkar. Dr. Dilip Sarkar is a retired vascular surgeon. He's also a certified yoga therapist and an Ayurvedic yoga therapist, one of the foremost experts in yoga therapy. And the beauty of Dilipji is that he combines his vast experience trained in Western medicine with his knowledge of integrative medicine, Ayurveda, yoga therapy. And as you will hear him say, 90%, if not 99% of yoga is practice. The rest of it, the little part of theory, is just one portion. However, he does not absolve himself of the responsibility of writing and grounding his practices in research as a trained medicine doctor. He focuses on scientific evidence-based practices. He's put out various CDs, books. You have some images there. I've given you his website, DilipSarkar.com. And right now, Dilipji is engaged in almost daily Facebook Live practices. I encourage you to go to his YouTube channel and view whatever it is he's putting out so you can continue to practice, maybe even today or tomorrow, which is one of the reasons in this session we don't focus as much on the practice of yoga. One of the things Dilipji talks about today is the role of Hasta Mudra in yoga. Mudra is, again, that is a stamp. Hasta Mudra is how do you use your hands, your gestures, your fingers to effect change in your body. And he talks a little bit more about various mudras. I have just used images of several mudras from his website. So without further delay, I'd like us to go and meet Dr. Sarkar. Namaste, Dilipji. It is such a delight to be watching you in camera and seeing you, of course, on Facebook Live daily. But thank you so much for gracing us with your time and sharing your wisdom with us today. Welcome to the show.
Dhanyavad. This is my honor and privilege to be with you and to be with your audience, and we shall be connecting through the Indian Embassy. Okay.
Thank you so much, Dilipji. As you know, we've been in conversation, some of it captured on camera, some of it not on camera. So we've been talking about how it's so pithy in the world right now to say, oh, yoga, meditation, as if it's automatic. And they think that the various limbs of yoga finally get you to meditation, whereas your understanding of it is different. It's more inclusive, expansive. You've said to me, meditation is there in every limb of yoga. It is not a destination, but it is inbuilt in the journey. So I wondered if you could talk a little bit about, in that concept. We've talked about the 8 limbs, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, and so on. Before we get into pratyahara and dhyana, where does meditation come when it comes to yama, principles of honesty or non-violence? If you could expand a little bit on that.
Thank you for asking a perfect question, primarily for your Western audience or your audience with a little bit of Western mind. And in West, you'll see all the time the term, yoga and meditation. Meditation is not different from yoga. There is no end, the yoga is meditation. So if you look at as you have gone through with your audience, with the 8 limbs, so you go to the yama, this is what we call the do's and don'ts, this is your social restraint. So start from the beginning, the non-violence. Non-violence is a meditation because the meditation is a state of a mind. We say we stay calm in the middle of crisis. Meditation is not that I'm sitting down with my spine straight, with my eyes closed, I'm going to pay attention to my breath, because this is a very temporary phenomenon. Meditation is 24/7. Meditation when everything is falling around me and I'm still calm. I'm very, mind, my chitta vritti nirodha. There is no chitta vritti. So for example, say a brahmacharya. The word of brahmacharya we talk about a simple way of defining brahmacharya. Charya is your routine. It's like a dinacharya, daily routine. Routine of the Brahma. If you are following your life, what Brahma is doing, that is a meditation, as simple as it can be described. Satta, truth. If you need to tell the truth, you don't have to remember the truth. But if I tell a lie, I have to remember that lie. What I have remembered, my mind is chattering all the time. So that is not your meditation. Osteo, oporigraho, non-stealing, non-attachment. If I steal something, my mind is not at ease. The whole meditation should be mind at ease, especially effortless ease. People are making an effort not to be angry. I'm making an effort not to have a stress. That creates more stress. That creates more anger. It has to be totally effortless. So non-stealing, non-attachment. Same way when you look at the niyamas, which are the do's. So you're santosh. When you are content, when you live in present, that is meditation. We call yesterday is a history. Tomorrow will be a mystery. Today is a present, it's a gift. That is our life, That is our santosh. Shaucha, cleanliness. Shaucha for your physical body and the mind, both. Shaucha, there cannot be any more meditation than the shaucha itself. Tapa, controlling your senses, tapa. Tapa will be a perfect meditative practice. Swadhyay. Swadhyay means meditation is what? Meditation is introspection. Meditation is looking inside me. People always ask me, I'm praying, I'm doing puja. Why do you need to meditation? When you are praying, when doing a puja, you are talking to a power above you, you're talking to divine, you're talking to Ishwar, whatever your faith dictates. But in meditation, you are talking to yourself, you're talking to yourself. So looking inside, self-realization. Realization means you develop your real eyes. Eyes are not turned backwards. You started looking within you instead of looking outside. Very simple way, how simple it is. Ishwara Pranidhan, surrendering, a spiritual practice. People say, I'm spiritual. What is the faith difference of spirituality? Spirituality basically means a believing in a power above me and surrendering. And people always ask me, especially Western trained physicians, what is surrender? I say surrender. Surrender means stop looking for a truth. Keep doing it. And you keep doing it. So, like a Nike commercial, just do it. Just do it. Yoga is 99% practice, 1% theory. As simple as it is. So again, what the question you ask about all the limbs, when you look at asana, what the Asana Yoga Sutra told us. Sthiram Sukham Asanam. Stillness. We're happy. That's asana. Then when you stay in the asana for a little longer and longer time, asana has 3 stages. At the beginning, it's called arambho. It's called the beginning. Muscle contracts, you get into a asana pose. And stay in the asana for a little longer time, muscle starts to relax. And before relaxation, it does a little bit of twitching called fasciculation. When the fasciculation goes away, we become a sthiti. And finally, when the profound relaxation is called a visarjan, arambho sthiti visarjan. And the asana takes you, and you'll see all of our rishis, all of our yogis, they sit down in a padmasana, they do a dhyana or jnana mudra, and that's the way they do your meditation practice, as simple as it is. Same with the pranayama. Pranayam, you can control and restrain your prana, and then lung is like a balloon. It has a 4.5 liter capacity. We only breathe 0.5 liter. So breathing out longer than breathing in. Breathing out is relaxation. Breathing out is parasympathetic. And breathing in is sympathetic. So when you breathe out longer, it takes you to relaxation. And again, remember, the breath is both conscious and subconscious. I'm sleeping, I'm breathing. But this is my lower part of my brain. Unconscious brain is doing my breathing. But also I can consciously I can take a deep breath in. That is a function of my higher cortex, which is conscious. It is a connective between body and mind, conscious and subconscious.
That's very beautifully explained, Dilipji. You know, it's almost like what I'm hearing you say is when you go through the initial Bahiranga aspects of the Ashtanga, inbuilt in the practice is also how the meditative process is cultivated. Okay. And then at a certain point when you are able to go into pratyahara and stepping into dharana and dhyana, it becomes important the object of concentration. So far we've been talking about contemplation on concepts, on the actual physical doing of it, the breath awareness. So I'm curious, when it comes to dhyana and dharana, with the object of concentration, what are you meditating on? Or what, it may not be the Yoga Sutra. What do the texts and practitioners tell us about focus?
Okay. See, the first 4 limbs which you described, the preparatory, you are preparing your body and mind. We go to the 5th limb, the name itself tells you pratta ahar. Ahar means the intake. What is the intake? Intake through my 5 senses. What I hear, what I see, smell, taste, and touch. So when I learn how to control my 5 senses, what happens is a yoga is a union. It's a union of your body, mind, and spirit. Here your 5 senses unites with your mind. And if you look at the yogic practice, mind is a content of your 5 senses. Whatever I receive, put it together. Then when that content becomes more processed, the mind, it becomes your buddhi. That means manomaya kosha to go to vijnanamaya kosha. And when a buddhi gets more processed, it becomes a wisdom. And wisdom is at the level where we have a anandamaya kosha. These are all meditative practice, balancing 3 bodies, you know, Sthula Sharir, Shukha Sharir, Karana Sharir, Pancha Kosha, balancing 7 chakras. We'll talk about the chakras during our therapeutic meditation. So when you look at the controlling your 5 senses and then entering slowly and slowly into a focus which is primarily comes from your breath centered. And then the dharana, if you keep looking at an object, and primary dharana we do, either it is a mantra meditation. What is mantra? Mantra is not only the word, mantra is the vibration. So what happens, my body and mind has a vibration. And I create a vibration with the mantra. 2 mantra interacts. It is called your harmonic resonance. It is a principle of physics, and my mind quiets down. So if I keep on the focus, the object of focus is your mantra. Object of your focus could be a visual imagery, like in a Jyoti Tratak. I can have a flame and I look at it from a distance without blinking, or I can do with my finger, I can do a Tratak. And also I can have a visual imagery. I can close my eyes. I can see, I can sitting down in front of a ocean, looking at the blue sky, or looking at a mountain. So slowly and slowly what happens, that focus slowly start becoming defocusing. When the defocusing, you started entering into the seventh limb, which is dhyana or meditation. In a meditation, the exact example is that I have a thought process. I have thousands and thousands of thought process. But most of my thought processes are in the past. And then another portion in the future. I have very few thoughts in my present. But even the thoughts in the present, a large number, 95, 98% are repeat thought process. Chitta vritti. I have to come and talk to Aparna, I have to go ahead and tell her about what is yoga, is meditation. It's constantly chattering me. Chanchalata, chitta vritti. So slowly and slowly it enters into the gap. When you enter the gap, slowly and slowly the gap becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. You still have the thought process, you're not thought less, but the repeat thought process doesn't come. So chanchalata goes away. So like we have a state of mind, as I said, jagroto, you're awake. Then you get a shapno, a dream. Then you get a shupto, you're sleeping. Then you go to turiya anand, you go to turiya anand. So if you look at all the steps you're going through, it is the whole effect is your meditation.
I was muted for a moment. I'm sorry. And that was very beautifully said. I know that when we are going to talk about the pranayama, you're going to talk about bandha and how the bandhas of the body connect with pranayama. I was especially curious about your demonstration of mudras. How do you use the hands to physiologically alter, whether it's anxiety, whether it's your thinking pattern? I wondered, we have another 5 to 7 minutes. I wondered if you're able to just show us how these mudras are used in meditation in a yoga paradigm.
Mudras, we talk about mudras are called, if you look at a Western terminology, it's called the neurophysical connector. That my physical body and neuronal connector to moving the prana to the organ of healing. It's called the pranic healing. As pranayama, that is control and restraint of prana, the hasta mudras. And there is not mudras only in the hand. Remember, our whole body has a mudra. Like you are a very good, like a dancer, a Bharatnatyam. Everything in Bharatnatyam is mudra. I have a neck movement, it's called a Brahma Mudra. We got a asana called a Yog Mudra. We have a Viparit Karani Mudra. We have a mudras in the face, the Shanmukhi Mudra. You have a mudras of your tongue, Khechari Mudra. So mudras are there. So hand mudra, what happens, we talk with our hands. When I'm talking, everybody says the hands are moving. That means hand is a connector between body and mind. And always say, you'll see a broadcast journalist have a microphone here, other hand is doing like this, because it's a mind. In fact, it says that your hand moves before your tongue. That whatever you are thinking, it comes to your hand before the tongue. So remember, so if you say something, subconsciously, I said, Aparna, I don't have to say anything. That is my mind. So what happens when I'm talking to you, you will see it happens to me so many times. And I'm taking a picture. I'm at the conferences. People are attentively looking at it. They put their hands like this. This is called a Hakini Mudra. Touch the tip of the fingers. This is the Hakini Mudra. And even when I'm talking to you, I'm surprised, that talking to you, my hand goes like that. And many a time it's nice to sit down on my lap. It brings a focus. My anxiety, when my mind is in the state of I'm very anxious. In my anxiety, it is called your Shankha Mudra. Shankha Mudra, what happens? So the right hand, wrap around your left thumb, left hand, wrap around the right hand, touch your index finger and thumb, and if you look at it, it looks like a Shankha. It looks like a Shankha to you. It looks like a conch shell. It's called a conch shell mudra. Then what happens? You balance it with the opposite hand. Left hand goes over the right thumb. Right hand goes over left hand. Touch your index finger and thumb. A Shankha mudra. Then for the yogis, what happens when they close their eyes, their mind has quieted down, they can access their Sukha Sharir. Say, I'll be doing it with my eyes closed. My eyes are closed now. I can easily wrap around. We can easily do it one side. Other side, you can easily do it on the other side. This is the way of your meditative practice. Eyes closed, doing the Hasta Mudra. This is also a meditation. Balancing both sides of the brain is a powerful meditative practice. Why? Because I'm lateralized. I'm right-handed, right-footed. I'm always using my left brain. I'm not using my right brain. I tell a meditative practice is you use your left hand. They said, Peter, I said, try brushing your teeth with the left hand. You always brush with the right hand. So what happened, you brush with the left hand, first will be, the brush will be everywhere. You never go there because you're not in a meditative practice. Close your eyes, slowly you'll be able to do the brushing with the left hand. But remember what will happen, at the time, when brush left, right hand will be doing like this. Because your brain is always active with the neuroplasticity. So this is called your Dhenu Mudra. Alternating fingers, when it touch, it balances. So my right hand and the left hand, right index finger touches left middle finger. Right middle finger touches the left index finger. Right ring finger touches the left little finger. And right little finger touches the ring finger, touches the thumb. It looks like an udder of a cow. This is Dhenu Mudra. Dhenu Mudra balances. And then again, you can see, eyes are closed, opposite hand. I have no problem doing it. My eyes are closed, index finger to middle finger to index finger, ring finger to little finger to ring finger. I have not looked at it. I know exactly where my fingers are. That's your meditative practice.
It is so beautiful to say that.
Chitta Vritti Nirodha, huh? What a powerful yogic practice.
And I think, as you rightly said, as a dancer,
I
love the expressive bit, the mudra parts. And we have a whole set that's just one hand, both hands, a samyuta hastas, that's a beautiful concept of meditation. Is even as simple as that. It can start with yama, niyama, asana, and I know we're going to elaborate on pranayama in our next segment. It can be meditation, of course, a traditional seated, closed eyes meditation. It can be even mudra meditation, mantra meditation. All of that comes under yoga meditation.
Look at what you do. Nritta Jog, dances you. You are doing a hand Hasta Mudra in Nritta, and you're looking at you're looking at that mudra. When you look at the mudra, your eyes are connecting with the heart. So Nritta, what you're doing, you're connecting your body, mind, and soul together.
It's beautiful. In fact, that's even there in the Natya Shastra. Yato hasta tato drishti. That's exactly. Where the drishti goes, tato manaha. And that is where the bhava and rasa and the emotion comes in when your hand follows. Okay. It's an exciting time, and I know I'm mindful of the clock here, but we're going to continue talking over the next few segments. So any final thoughts for our viewers for this segment when they go into understanding yoga is meditation? Every aspect of it is meditation. Is there any other final guidance you want them to have between this session and next?
The final guidance is, people always ask me, a person is doing asana, and what is going to happen? I said, nothing. I want to enter a house. There's a beautiful house, you have a nice house. I have a nice house. You live in here. But I need to enter into the house. I need to enter in through the gate. So you are entering into the gate. When you're entering into the gate, you start doing asanas. And in stages, we say that in stages, impossible become possible. Today, you cannot touch the toe. But with your neuroplasticity, slowly and slowly, you will be able to touch all of Padahasta Asana. The moment you touch your toe, you said, you know what? I couldn't do it before. Let me see. Am I telling the truth? Am I doing a non-violence in my practice, in my life? See if I'm doing what Brahma is doing. Is it a brahmachari? Is I doing a non-stealing, non-attachment? It will all come to you. Instead of pushing yourself to do it, It is a effortless ease. It will come to you. It will come to you. All the santosh, socho, and slowly you will say, you know what? God gave me this. I'm fine. Pranayama will come. So he said all the time, Karo yog, raho nirog, huh?
Beautiful last words, Dilip ji. I thank you, and I know we're going to have you in 3 more segments, but namaste, and I look forward to our very next segment on pranayama. Having listened to all of that theoretical aspects of what is yoga, where was it done, and again hearing Dilip ji's reiteration, 99% is practice. It's not possible to end a series on meditation without a small practice. So if you would, sit down comfortably wherever you are. If it's on a chair, just rest your back. If it's on the floor, against any surface. If you are lying down for this particular practice, that's okay. If you're able to, close your eyes and shift your attention, your object of concentration, on any of the things that Dilip ji has talked about. It could be a concept of honesty, nonviolence. It could be something that you are thinking about, an emotion. It could be just breath awareness, whatever it is that you choose. Per the text of Yoga Sutras, asana is sthiram sukham asana. Be comfortable, be steady. Allow your breath to find its own natural rhythm. And I want us to listen to flute music developed for us by Kalyan Raman. He has titled it Love. So if you're looking for an emotion, that may be something you consider. So enjoy. It is a 5-minute track. You will see him playing it live. This is not available anywhere else. It's specially choreographed for us. And just enjoy and practice yoga meditation per the Yoga Sutras without any special yoga asana or pranayama practice, simply meditating. That was the music of Raman Kalyan, a performer, composer, educator. His website information to learn music from him, to download meditation music. Here are the various information for you. To wrap up, today we talked about texts of yoga, history of yoga, and our first of a 4-part series on yoga meditation. That all meditation, all yoga is meditation. While we start off with the yoga mention, even in the Rig and Yajur Sama Atharva Vedas and Upanishads, and then later on in the Bhagavad Gita, 3 of the texts that is followed in yoga, Yoga Sutra, Hatha Yoga Pradipika, and Girenda Samhita. A general timeline over which yoga evolved. We will be walking through some of these over the next 4 sessions. And again, in August, we will be getting to modern yoga practices, modern as in the last few hundred years. Grounded today's segment on Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, the Ashtanga concepts, where meditation is dwelling on each one of them. This was our guest presenter today, Dr. Dilip Sarkar. You have his website, his YouTube, and he offers daily Facebook Live classes. He talked about the role of Hasta Mudras, the way you hold your fingers in your hand in creating the meditative experience. And again, I encourage you to develop and maintain a regular meditation practice with any one of our presenters and their resources. There are many meditation apps also available, and you don't need any of that. It can be as simple as doing what you are doing, contemplation, deliberation, maybe setting aside some time in your day, 2 minutes a day, and then learning and developing that meditative muscle to get up to about 30 minutes if possible. Various presenters who are coming on board as we go through. Today you saw Dilip Ji. He is associated with the Taksha Institute, with the National Ayurvedic Medical Association, and of course with SDYASA and the International Yoga Association of Yoga Therapists. If you caught a portion of today and you want to watch it later on, there are a couple of ways. You can, of course, use it on your smartphone. Facebook.com, Healing Tradition. You can catch it in the playlist Indian Meditative Practices on my YouTube channel, Ramaswamy Aparna. Of course, join us live, facebook.com, India and USA. So before I kind of wrap up today's presentation, I'd like to just say I'm delighted to join you every week. This is week 4. We're going to go right through summer, so please be sure to log back on next Wednesday and over the next 4 sessions to celebrate International Day of Yoga, which is June 20th. We would like to play a small segment of the actual recitation of the Yoga Sutra by various chapters. Today, the first one, of course, is Samadhipada. Enjoy the recitation and namaste. I hope to see you back again next time.
Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarottam pravaram muninam Patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi Atha Patanjala Yoga Sutrani Prathamodhyayaha Samadhipadaha Atha Yoganushasanam Yogaschittavrittinirodhaha Tada drashtuh swarupeva sthanam Vritti sarupyamittaratra Vrittayah panchatayah klishtaha Pramana viparyaya vikalpanidra smritayaha Pratyakshanumanagama pramanani Viparyayo mithya jnanamatadrupa pratishtham Shabda jnananupati vastu shunyo vikalpaha Abhava pratyayalambana vrittir nidra Anubhuta vishaya sampramosha smritihi Abhyasa vairagyabhyam tannirodhaha Tatra sthitau yatno bhyasaha Satu dirghakala nairantarya satkara sevito dridha bhumihi Drishtanusravika vishaya vitrishnasya Vashikara sanya vairagyam Tatparam purushakyater gunavaitrishyam Vitarka vicharanandasmita rupanugamat samprajnataha Virama pratyayabhyasa purvaha sanskara sheshonyaha Bhava pratyayo videha prakritilayanam Shraddha virya smriti samadhi prajna purvaka itaresham Tivra samveganam asannaha Mridu madhyadhimatratvat tatopi visheshaha Ishvara pranidhanadva Klesha karma vipakashayairaparam rishtaha Purusha vishesha ishvaraha Tatra niratishayam sarvagnya bijam Sapurveshamapi guruh kalena navachhedat Tasya vachakah pranavaha Tajjapastadartha bhavanam ततः प्रत्यक्चेतनाधिगमोऽप्यन्तरायाभावश्च व्याधिस्त्यानसंशयप्रमादालस्याविरतिभ्रान्तिदर्शनालब्धभूमिकत्वानवस्थितत्वानि चित्तविक्षेपास्तेऽन्तरायाः दुःखदौर्मनस्याङ्गमेजयत्वश्वासप्रश्वासाविक्षेपसह भुवः तत्प्रतिषेधार्थमेकतत्त्वाभ्यासः मैत्रीकरुणामुदितोपेक्षाणां सुखदुःखपुण्यापुण्यविषयाणां भावनातश्चित्तप्रसादनम् प्रच्छर्दनविधारणाभ्यां वा प्राणस्य विषयवती वा प्रवृत्तिरुत्पन्ना मनसः स्थितिनिबन्धिनी विशोका वा ज्योतिष्मती वीतरागविषयं वा चित्तम् स्वप्ननिद्राज्ञानालम्बनं वा यथाभिमतध्यानाद्वा परमाणुपरममहत्त्वान्तोऽस्य वशीकारः क्षीणवृत्तेरभिजातस्येव मणेर्ग्रहीतृग्रहणग्राह्येषु तत्स्थतदञ्जनता समापत्तिः तत्र शब्दार्थज्ञानविकल्पैः सङ्कीर्णा सवितर्का समापत्तिः स्मृतिपरिशुद्धौ स्वरूपशून्येवार्थमात्रनिर्भासा निर्वितर्का एतयैव सविचारा निर्विचारा च सूक्ष्मविषया व्याख्याता सूक्ष्मविषयत्वं चालिङ्गपर्यवसानम् ता एव सबीजः समाधिः निर्विचारवैशारद्येऽध्यात्मप्रसादः ऋतंभरा तत्र प्रज्ञा श्रुतानुमानप्रज्ञाभ्यामन्यविषया विशेषार्थत्वात् तज्जः संस्कारोऽन्यसंस्कारप्रतिबन्धी तस्यापि निरोधे सर्वनिरोधान्निर्बीजः समाधिः इति पतञ्जलिविरचिते योगसूत्रे प्रथमः समाधिपादः।